Alright, this is a legendary breakdown for what I think will be popular for 9.2 once we can get double legendaries in week 8. There's only really 3 legendaries that I think are going to be popular. That's going to be Shadowflame Prism, probably the most popular and most likely to work, but if you want to cover all bases, then build Stratagem. And then the next one, which I think is kind of a wild card, but it might help in certain scenarios, considering Shadows might get more play, is Call to the Void. Now I'm going to show you kind of like what the build's like. So right now I am going to switch to Shadowflame, which is the most likely one we're going to be playing. And Shadowflame, these are your general single target talents, and yeah. So the reason I'm doing this is because there's sort of conception that there's only really one build to play for next patch, and that is this build that I'm showing right now, because well, you do see it's a very strong one with the 2 set and the 4 set, but the only reason I think Stratagem might pull out ahead is because Stratagem has more synergy with the build because you're getting more Dark Thought procs, which makes it more important. Well, not important, but makes it more. I just realised I'm playing with the right one. Yep, playing the right one. I thought I was playing the bottom one, the one that you play for Mythic Plus. So I'll be doing these for about 1 minute, no 2 minutes, so when PI comes back up, just kind of like looking at the talent, seeing how it feels. So really this is the most boring one because it only really affects when you're in your 1 minute, like when you've got Mindbenders up. But the benefits of it is it does work in Cleave, which is an area where I don't think Shadow needs help with, but I think it's an area where Shadow does well in, but it could be better in the sense of having your main target with Devouring Plague and not really being able to get enough sanity like constantly to keep it up permanently on both target makes it so it's less valuable. But there's a chance that you'll still be playing it just because on single target it does a lot of damage. You can see like 8k kind of doing, and I didn't really play that well. This is no buffs besides well, I'm not the best play, but this is kind of like a more realistic version. Instead of doing sims where I can't actually find sims comparing them, just seeing how they play in practice at my sort of skill level. So I'm talking someone who's mid mythic grade to know like an average. Okay, here it is, 7.2. That's probably the lowest. I usually end up around 9.1. Okay, so the next build, which I think is more likely going to be popular, is playing Stratagem. Stratagem's a legendary personally I have not played with before, and I haven't even got it made on retail. Does that necessarily mean it's going to be a bad legendary? No, because I think the playstyle is closer to what we're playing now, so you'll be more familiar with it. But it's like a longer, so I think fights when they stretch over that 5 minute mark, this build becomes more, well, 6 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes. This build becomes really good. I'm going to show you now. So wait until I get the last of that sanity. 3, 1. Alright. So this is the same sort of opener you're playing now, no matter what you're playing. As long as you actually know when you're playing the legendaries that we're playing currently. And this is the reason I think you'll be playing it, because look at how much insanity that you just I constantly got, and then Mind Blast after Mind Blast after Mind Blast makes it so you're really never not casting Mind Blast, and you've always got Devouring Plague up on the target, so when you're not casting it, it kind of, it's very unlikely, so you're just getting that extra passive damage just because of the haste and the. Well, see, the amount of Dark Thought supports we get from the 2 set makes us really good. Also, the extra proc makes it so. I'll show you afterwards. Because currently I'm trying to like still play semi decently. Not like I'm not going to retake this just because I didn't play perfectly, but I'm trying to show you realistically what I'm going to be like. But this legendary really changes the damage profile of playing Shadow, in the sense of, well, not profile, but your style of doing damage, because you're mainly going to be focusing on Mindbenders and the procs, and it makes it so you proc more, and then when you've got those procs, you're kind of holding off a little bit just so you can proc it more. So you look now, right? So instead of just slamming Devouring Plagues, I'm kind of holding off a little bit just to get more sanity so I can then use it again. This might lead into a build where you're playing, so still playing, crit becomes more important this way. And I think that's a good full shout because it's become like a bit of a harder hitting threat. Right, 2 minutes, 7.7. So, but look at the damage difference. So, Mind Blast in 2 minutes doing around 250 compared to no way, it's still changing. Right, this is the first one where your Shadow of Torment, your Shadow's doing more damage, Devouring Plague, then also your Shadow Fiend's not doing that much damage personally. This is the reason why I think it's not that good. You know, the damage is about the same, so like 7.5. Now I'm not playing either of them perfectly, but this is the, sorry, let's misclick. This is the last build that I think's likely that we're going to play. Alright, I'm getting the bug. It's a bug I always get on PTO, where I have to kill myself before I can swap out Yale. Now, the problem with all these legendaries that I'm showing off now is that they're all in slots that can't be made anywhere else besides tier slots. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it makes me want to stockpile more in case I get something in that slot. So if I get like a, I go into the tier and I got a 2, what legendaries right now? Do I have a legendary on this guy? Like an old legendary? I think it's 262. So now, going into the raid, going even into normal, looking at the, oh no, it's 252. So normal, the tier set, to break a tier set, remake a legendary to get a tier set is definitely worth it, I think, for Shadow, because, I'm going to break down. So, your Devouring Plagues have more chance to crack Dark Falls. This is the main reason why I think playing the Stratagem legendary is going to be important, because you get more procs of Dark Thoughts to use more Mind Blast. Your Mind Blast do more damage if they have Devouring Plague on it. You get more, so kind of those two do work together in the sense where you get more if you have more. So it's like it's more, you're rolling into the damage more. Whereas playing Shadow Prism just doesn't do anything. So this legendary is the one I'm least excited for, because it's probably Mythic Plus one. So, and I've just kind of fucked this build. Oh no. That's it. Right, that's it. Dark Thoughts into Dark Thoughts. Sorry, that was a scuffed opener, but it's one take openers. So this is the problem with this legendary. Okay, it's proc now. It's 15 seconds long when it's up, which is good because it doesn't proc that often personally, I've found. But if you play more Shadow Priest in Mythic Plus, this might be good because the other legendaries, now I'm not saying this is going to be more damage than playing Shadow Prism, but Shadow Prism does clear targets to those mobs, whereas this kind of is more funnel almost. I'm not sure if it stacks on top of multiple mobs. I don't believe it does. But if it procs with more mobs hitting it, so it can go to multiple mobs if you get multiple of them, this might make it more of an AoE legendary. and make Shadow Prism the cleave one. Or if it's only on one mob, then it makes it a funnel legendary where, okay, you've got one mob that has it on, and it changes not your playstyle, but like how you see the class. I think there's a good chance that you'll see more Shadow Priests because of how strong they are in the new patch. So I've had that legendary prop twice. It's been a minute and a half, 15 seconds, so it's up 30 seconds out of a minute and a half, so not terrible, not great, but that one mob for 15 seconds is 30, yeah, so it's 30 seconds every minute and a half it was there when I got 2 procs. Obviously with Mindseer it's probably a bit better because you're hitting multiple mobs unless there's an internal cooldown or like. Alright, that's 2 minutes. 8.7. Now my opener was a lot better there. That's usually what I end up at, but if you look at it, the actual legendary 2% DPS, not great. But all my other breakdowns look a bit better. This is more like it, but except for Mind Blast does a lot more damage. I see Mind Blast doing more than my Shadow by like 3%, so it was like 25% of my damage than my. But that was a weird pull. Like, this is the one thing about the whole Shadow legendaries that I'm not a fan of, is that it does seem like it's very dependent. Like, okay, you get more chances to get Dark Thought, that's good, but you don't know if that's a natural Dark Thought or is a legendary one. Now, it doesn't make a difference really in the damage, but it feels not great. But yeah, those are just the legendaries I want to highlight. At the very end, I want to talk about one thing, is that people saying you're only going to play Necro, but Night Fae's definitely got a place if you need a 1 minute more build. Because I think with the haste, not haste values, but I think you can get it down closer to 1 minute, and that's important for some fights where if you need like minute bursts, similar to like Sludge Fist. Or what's this current raid tier similar? What fight do you kind of need like to push? Like on the 9, sad as an early boss, but if you can get more minute type CDs, you get more procs in it, and then it's like, okay, I can pop on boss, I can pop on intermission ad, I can pop on boss, I can pop on intermission ad, I can pop on boss, and that's good because when you're playing the 3 minute version, so Shadow Fiend with Void Torrent, so I can pop on boss, I can pop on boss midway through second one. No, I can pop on boss, pop on ads at the very end, to then pop on boss again, and then you don't get it really most of the time for the next set of ads, or you're kind of, it just seems a bit off. There's no really other fights that's similar to like that. Thinking about this is all on a rogue I'm thinking about. KT's another one where it's like you get it, you don't, it's a bit odd. So I still think Night Fae has its place, but I think Necro is generally going to be better. But the good thing is that you could honestly go still play Night Fae and Keys. So you can have 2 Covenants covered with Necro and then Night Fae. But yeah, overall that's how I feel. Could try doing more of this type of stuff going into the next patch. But yeah, so like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time. Probably on the weekly reset video. Take it easy, bye.